Welcome back to the Parlor City Voice podcast. I'm Councilman Rick Elwell along with Bluffton Mayor Scott Mincer, and we are here with episode 8. This is episode 8.
Did
Times.
you think we'd get to 8?
I didn't think we'd get to 3, but I thought the FCC or somebody would pull us, but apparently here we are. And this is a podcast about what's happening in and around the great city of Bluffton, Indiana, and we're here to talk a little business segment tonight, actually. With us is Chris Bryant from the Parlor City Brewery. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. Rick.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I have I think it'd be fair to say frequented your establishment many times. I'm a Thursday night semi-regular.
I'm pretty sure I've seen you in there before.
So. I'm number 168 on the stack. If you're grabbing my cup, man, I was in there last week. Business seems like it's going well.
Yeah, business has been really well for us. Every year, I'm just kind of looking at, how we did previous month, and we just keep nudging a little bit higher. So it's been great. We've had a lot of great community support.
Good. That's good. I'm interested in your story. I know that you aren't from here originally, correct?
Not from Bluffton, but I was born in Rochester, Indiana.
Okay.
So
that's a little bit to the west.
Yeah, not completely unfamiliar with Indiana. So.
Can you give us maybe a little bit of your story?
Sure. I was born in Rochester, Indiana, lived there till like the end of 5th grade, so late 80s. We moved. Then my dad got a job in northern Illinois, so moved there. And then it was around 95 that I moved to northern Michigan. My dad and mom had separated, and that's where my mom was. So I went to stay with her for the summer and ended up staying up there and kind of built, my career in hospitality, working at the ski resorts, country clubs, different food and beverage up there.
So how did it work? You're like, all these beers are trash, I'm going to make my own. I mean, how did you go down that road?
Well, I've been around craft beer for many years, and it was probably around 2007 that I started home brewing.
Okay.
Really enjoyed that. Was still in hospitality, and there was a funny time around 2015 where I just decided I needed to step away. There was an opportunity to go into business with a close friend of mine, and it was a completely different business. And it was about a year and a half later I realized that you can be good friends with somebody, but maybe not great business partners.
Yeah.
So
understand that concept. Yep.
So it was at that point that I reached out to one of the local breweries and said, "Hey, would you mind hiring me? I'd love to see the professional side of it." Because I really wasn't interested in getting back into kitchens or restaurants right away, and I fell in love with the professional side of brewing, and it was shortly after that I decided I needed to do it for myself, and that's when I started looking for opportunities.
Interesting.
So how did you get to Bluffton? What's that story?
Well,
which I'm sure many people have asked you in the past.
Yeah. That's usually the first question is like, why Bluffton? And so I felt like it was time to leave northern Michigan. And, like I said, I was familiar with Indiana, and I have relatives in Rochester still. And I was like, well, I'll see, what's in Indiana. Right. And found a place actually in Rochester, downtown, historical old building, a place where we could live up above and work down below.
And just to interject, we did a couple projects over that way a few years ago, and we ate one evening at a really nice restaurant downtown. Yeah. Nice downtown, beautiful downtown.
Yeah. And I was super excited for it.
Councilman, we're here to promote the Parlor City. If Rochester wants to get plugs into the Parlor City Voice, there's a fee for that. So Mayor of Rochester, you're welcome to give me a call, and
you're very territorial.
We'll invoice appropriately.
Yeah. Continue, please.
So, I contacted the realtor, and he said, yeah, there's a tenant down there already. The upper space is perfect to live in. And they're building a brewery right next door. And I was like, well, that one's not on the list anymore. So I continued to look around and, found 212 West Market and called about it, talked to the realtor and let him know what the plan was. And he was like, well, I need to get you in touch with Michael and Chad Klein, because this is what they want. And that's what Bluffton apparently wanted and needed. So after talking to them and finding a little bit about, the CRP opportunities, and it really just checked off a lot of boxes for us.
So let's talk about the CRP opportunities, because there's probably a lot of people watching this podcast who really don't know what that program is.
Right.
But that's a program sponsored by the city, and we route it through Bluffton now, that provides some matching grant opportunities to make improvements on downtown buildings. So talk a little bit about how that played into your situation.
So I applied for the CRP, with all the requirements that they have, as far as getting quotes and showing, what the project plan was. And, it was about 80% there, and really just needed to get it across the finish line. And there were some, local building owners, business owners that helped kind of come around and help just get that final little bit that I needed to do to be able to get the project off the ground. And definitely some talented individuals as far as, the production part of getting an old building put together. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
It really is a nice, the environment's nice. I kind of was hooked when I came in and saw the vintage Yamaha motorcycle up front and the Marantz stereo and playing the classic tunes. And I thought, man, this is a nice place to hang out. So.
Truth be known, Rick really wants to ride that motorcycle.
I had one. I think I've even told you this before. I had an 82 Yamaha Maxim. All right, so I'm into the weeds a little bit, but, and then I got married, had kids, and sold the motorcycle because that's what you did when you needed to. So anyway, is there a story behind that bike, or?
I've been into motorcycles for a while, and rebuilding, some of the old vintage motorcycles has been something that was fun. I've had many. This was really the only one that came with us.
Okay.
So not having a garage.
Yeah, that's tough.
I just thought, we'll put it in the front window. It'll be a conversation piece. But it does run. It's licensed and insured all the time, so it's ready to go.
Yeah. All right.
So you got your CRP application in, and sort of walk us through the next sort of phases for you.
So still needed to secure a loan with one of our local banks here, and they kind of help me navigate the SBA program. The SBA doesn't just hand you out the money.
Correct. A lot of people misunderstand.
Right. It's definitely the bank, but the SBA helps back more of that. So the banks just feel more comfortable with giving money to some bearded weirdo that wants to start a brewery, in Bluffton, Indiana. So, but once we got that secured and we had our contractors in place, which we used all local contractors to do all the work. They just went after it, and we had goals that we had to hit, and I wanted to get brewing as soon as possible, and then it's 2020, and the world took a weird turn.
That's a diplomatic way to say it.
Yeah. So, but we were still able to open up, at least on a kind of a limited basis, with the restrictions and everything, in June of 2020. So
it's interesting you mentioned that, because just recently I was going through some footage that actually Quinn provided me.
Quinn, our producer,
our producer Quinn.
Yeah.
And it was footage of your building and your business with people wearing face masks.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, I remember those days.
That was a thing.
Yeah. Still find them in a random, winter coat pocket.
That's true. I have as well.
Can I ask, what What's been your biggest challenge in this business thus far,
Well,
if you had one?
Yeah, the hospitality is it's a tough business for sure. You can ask anybody that owns a restaurant, a brewery. It's margins are thin. It's hard to find. Labor, the workforce is tough.
Yep.
We've been incredibly fortunate, with the people that we've hired. Shout out to Sarah, Renee,
Yeah,
Logan, and recently Luke. They're the other half of what Parlor City is. Yes, we have great beer and great food, but they really help that atmosphere piece, with their personalities. And
they do a great job. You've been in there many times and always been taken care of in a timely fashion. And so I have to ask this question: what's the weirdest beer you've ever made? And while you're thinking on that, because Burfest is right around the corner, and ultimately there's a number of beers available at Burfest, and some of them are a little out there, right? To be fair, it's got what in it? Oh, all right, I'll try it. Peanut butter and jelly beer, right? I mean, how does that work?
Sure, sure. I don't think I've gone too far outside the boundaries. Using some soft serve ice cream, or marshmallow fluff or things like that are definitely some fun ingredients. We've also, done some our big stout with our bread pudding dessert into the beer. So try to have fun with it and not be too serious, and just try new things.
Okay.
So Chris, you've had the opportunity since 2020, that time frame, to see the downtown develop. I mean, you were really sort of on the forefront of the renaissance of our downtown.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit from first, when you first arrive at Bluffton and you see what downtown was back in 2020 to what you see today, and sort of thinking back through that, how's it different?
So, I'm always hopeful to continue to see new businesses, sustainable businesses that can come downtown and thrive, and I think we continue to see that, which is great. We don't want to be the only ones here, in a landscape of empty storefronts. We want to see foot traffic, and we've seen more foot traffic. The programming that's going on down at the plaza has also been a big help. Things that Bluffton is doing to beautify the downtown, I think, is also very important. It people take pride in that, and they need that space that they're prideful for.
So let me give you a platform here. So,
Okay.
We've got millions of people watching this podcast, obviously.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Joe Rogan
Clearly.
is a little envious.
Clearly, yeah.
I'll take care of Joe. If you were sort of to pitch, what would you like to see as a downtown business owner to continue that momentum?
Again, like I said, continue to beautify places where people can hang out and enjoy that beauty too. I feel like some more spaces to be able to have your family, bring your dog, walk the space and make it more walkable. Yeah, we have sidewalks, I get that, but I'll be honest, since the new stoplight, the new stop sign down in Marion, it has slowed the traffic down on Market.
Kind of lowered the pace a little bit.
And I think that's great.
Yeah. I think we're glad we did that. It's a good move.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you and I talked probably about a week ago about being able to bring more of a family spirit downtown.
Yeah. I hate to plug it as this, but I feel like, right now we're kind of in the alcohol district, and I would certainly like to see, some more family type of businesses, storefronts, whatever that exactly is, and
Right.
I don't have that exact answer, but anything that like I said, with the plaza programming has definitely helped bring families downtown, and with having Dora, has certainly helped our side.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because that was a program that I think we had pretty good consensus on, but there was a few people who may have been a little bit skeptical of the idea from a business perspective, and even as someone who lives downtown. Talk about the impact of Dora.
I think Dora's been great from a business point. It has now allowed us to be a part of the plaza. Before, people couldn't bring our drinks down into that area. So that's been helpful. Anytime there is like the chili walk, things like that, we definitely see an uptick. But for the most part, it's really during events. And, as far as a resident, it's not like I'm seeing, a bunch of people just drunk laying on the sidewalk everywhere. I don't think it's increased any more alcohol consumption at all.
The fears that would precipitate more of that really haven't come to play out. And because you're physically living down here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, I don't, and honestly, I don't see Dora cups laying around in the street or on the sidewalk, or so it's not like it's added any more garbage or anything to the streetscape at all. So,
before we conclude, I wanted to give you a chance to kind of throw out what's up on your menu board right now. Give us your hours. I mean, if you haven't been to our brewery here, the Parlor City Brewery, I recommend it. I think it's a great place, part of our fabric downtown, our business fabric downtown. What's on your menu board right now? What's coming up? Anything you want to mention?
So, I guess this is the place to release some new information.
Yeah.
So, sometime, probably the third week in March, somewhere around there, we are going to start opening up on Wednesdays. So we're going to add another.
We are breaking
news right here.
News.
Yep. So,
Lynn's amazed.
Yeah. So that's going to be added this week. As far as our pizza feature, it's going to be the Maple Pig, which seems to be a favorite. It's
the Maple Pig.
Yeah, it's the smoked pork, bacon, maple
I'm familiar.
barbecue.
I'm familiar.
That one seems to always do really well. Got a new beer coming out. It's an American light lager. It's only 3.9%.
Go ahead, Scott. No, wait. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Rick loves those light.
It's definitely a style that we needed to have, and I feel beer as a beverage, anyways. It's a very sessionable drink. It's one that you engage with your friends, and you can have a few, and
so I was going to throw in, Scott, as you mock me for my beer preferences, that
not mocking at all.
My mom came from Germany. She grew up in Germany.
Okay.
She came over after World War II, and so it was their custom to have beer at lunch, at dinner. They drank it warm.
Yeah.
In many occasions, they didn't refrigerate it, and so but they drank a lot of the stuff that she shared was a lot of the lighter beers, and that's just kind of where I got my taste for it. So.
Yeah, definitely seeing more trends for the lighter styles. Of course, they're with non-alcoholic drinks, and this I would say Gen Z, maybe partaking a little bit less, or people are just looking at other options. I think this is going to be a great addition to our menu. So
great.
I'm excited for it.
So I think I've mentioned on this podcast a couple of times just how much I appreciate the creation of what I call, or what others call, third places downtown. And again, for those who maybe not have heard me talk about this in previous podcasts, home is your first place, work is your second place. A third place is a place where you come and gather with others, to have conversations, to break bread together.
Community.
It's a community.
Yep.
And one of the things I've really come to appreciate about Parlor City Brewing Company is I can come and I can sit down at a table with a lot of my friends, have a lot of conversation, enjoy a beer, enjoy some good food, get up, walk down a couple more tables, and I run into somebody I know, right, at another table. And it's probably only one person I know at that table, but I've got the opportunity now to meet 3 other people at that table. And that just goes on. And what it's allowed me to do, and I'm sure Rick as well, is just the opportunity to meet a lot more people than otherwise.
When I get ready to leave, I usually it's about a 20-minute jaunt from where I am to the door, because there's always a conversation to be had, or a, hey, how you doing, or hey, what's going on with this, or it is a great way to connect with the community.
So before we wrap up, I do want to talk about, we're in the Bourbon MD here filming this podcast.
We are.
And there's a relationship between you and this establishment. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, as far as
So they got out of the food service business.
Oh, okay, yes.
The food is. Yeah.
So the food, they made the decision that they wanted to kind of pump the brakes on the food, but they still see the value of having some kind of food service or something here, and I was super stoked to be able to help Joey and Nate out, and to be able to put our menus in here so that if you're over here at the Bourbon MD, you can call right over and we'll bring it right over to you. So it's been a great partnership there.
Yeah, and I think that speaks well to the community down here.
Absolutely.
So that we can help make each other successful, and we've certainly taken that opportunity to enjoy a beverage here at Bourbon MD.
Yep.
But get a gluten-free pizza delivered from Parlor City Brewing Company over to here. So thank you for working with them, because at the end of the day, this is about making all of these establishments healthy and attractive and being here in the long term. And that's what makes a thriving city.
Chris, thanks for joining us on the podcast. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And we'll see you around town, I'm sure, probably on Thursday for sure.
And one more time, when does Wednesday start?
It's probably going to be late March.
Late March. Okay, late March,
yeah.
Wednesday. I love that.
I know. I'm excited.
We'll wrap up this segment. Thanks for joining us on the Parlor City Voice. We'll see you next time.